It is a rough day to be an LEC caster, let me tell you. Upset's called out Vedius on Twitter, and Foxtrot and many other casters have called out the LEC in general for disgusting treatment of their casters, and we've got so much more to cover. Let's start good though, with Upset calling out the LEC and Vedius specifically. Honestly, what a baby. He tweeted after K-Corp's games versus Mad Lions, "I do not understand why some casters have to push such negative narratives without giving important context or considering how them saying it on a main broadcast can affect players and their careers in a huge way. No nuance, just shitting on people when they're in a bad moment." Firstly, what a fucking cringe Twitter icon, by the way. Who the fuck has Zeri as a profile picture? Like, seriously, grow up. You're literally married. No, but if anything, I think the LEC's biggest weakness is actually criticising players, criticising teams. Even when a game's a stomp, they'll be overly positive. Like, they are so nice and so positive. It almost is a bias in that way. So let's see what was so bad it needed to be called out.
I mean, to be fair, now I ain't trying to throw any shade, I'm just stating facts. Yes. Super did make a finals in his first split. Upset has been 10th place 3 times in a row. I'm just stating facts. Those are only, that's all I've done. Okay. Facts hurt. They do. Now, of course, facts don't represent a player, you know? Upset still.
I'm sorry, do you want to say that again?
Yeah, facts.
So let me get this straight. A man who's finished 10th 3 times in a row is mad someone said that he's finished 10th 3 times in a row. Like, what are you talking about? I've got no idea. Like, Upset, if you're mad about being called out about being last 3 times in a row and feel you and your support are being unfairly flamed, how about you actually carry some fucking games and don't finish 10th? Or do you want us to go back to the previous splits and say, G2 actually came second last split, K-Corp came first because Upset's feelings got hurt? His pro name is pretty good though. Upset is upset about nothing. Shock. I honestly thought Vedius had been unprofessional and done solo queue level flame on the broadcast when I saw the tweet, but what Vedius said couldn't have been more tame. It's simply a factual critique of what actually happened. But already Vedius has apologised and opened DMs to other players. Vedius, mate, you did absolutely nothing wrong, my man. You need to do more of this. There's a reason K-Drill and co-streams are so popular. Is because they don't pander to narratives, they don't pander to players' feelings, they just react how fans would actually react when they see a horrific play. It's genuine. The LEC isn't as genuine at the minute because it is just so positive. Faker and Hall of Legends just gets more disrespectful by the minute. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. With all the other drama, the one thing you can get right is give Faker a cool trophy. The bare minimum can't be lower than that, right? Well, Riot says, hold my beer. Forget about it being cool. How about the bare minimum is we just give him a trophy that hasn't been damaged? And they can't even do that. They literally gave him a trophy with a massive scratch down the side. It's honestly crazy how disrespectful Riot is. I'm expecting the next reward for Faker is the Riot CEO just goes and spits in his face on stage. This whole event is a scam, and the sooner it's over, the better. Next up, there's a hit song you should know the lyrics to. It goes like this: "It's mud on the dance floor, but you better not kill the groove." Sadly, former pro Yaharong did not kill the groove on the dance floor, but an innocent woman in Vietnam. If found guilty, he'll face a death penalty, but obviously still waiting on more details to come out. But this seriously is always super scary to think like an assumingly normal person is capable of doing this. Just a, in quotes, regular league player, obviously not a regular league player, but he just strangled a woman after she refused to sleep with him. Just horrific and undeserved fate for this poor woman. This has already been covered in a more detailed way, so I'm taking a different approach, saying honestly I dread to think how many league players are involved in stuff like this, because you obviously wouldn't hear about when it's a non-league pro involved, just a normal player. Like, League of Legends is genuinely the biggest free entry mental asylum in the history of humanity. Millions of players that are clinically insane, forced to try and work as a team to achieve a common goal, is absolutely crazy when you think about it. In the last 30 days, there's been 1.7 million games of Shaco. What happens if League of Legends shuts down? Are we just setting all the Shaco players free into society? Like, Riot needs a medal actually for containing these psychos. Next up, Foxtrot, former LEC caster, went to Twitter to call out the LEC, something I think a lot of casters will do once their career ends and they're no longer held by the balls by the LEC. Let me give you a too long didn't read of this fiasco. LEC is a dream job for many people, so that comes with people accepting being treated poorly and underpaid to be able to do the job. All the casters are freelancers, so they don't get a secure income, and they only get paid the weekends they work, which isn't every weekend for many of them. But they still have to move to Berlin and be readily available. Foxtrot and many other casters were ghosted for 5 entire months, thinking they were working on a next split, only to find out from Twitter they've been fired. As Foxtrot said, ghosting people whose livelihoods you hold in their hands is simply unacceptable. Imagine moving to a foreign country for a job only to get ghosted by the company and then find out by Twitter you're fired. Now you're in a foreign country with probably like a rent contract and other things tying you down, and it's not like you're an accountant and you can just move to another company in Berlin. The LEC is the only place you can work. Ryan Central, former EMEA caster, said this is the exact reason he no longer casts, and Monte Cristo said they announced him as a world caster on Twitter before even asking or negotiating with him, and then tried to tell him he should work for free as he's being paid in exposure. Riot makes hundreds of millions. This is disgusting. I think we can all agree league casters are a different level of good. Like they're crazy good. And the dedication and the amount of prep time they do in the broadcast isn't just that 2 hours you see. It is countless hours. Without the talent of these casters, the esport would crash. Like, the LCS without Flowers, Kobe, Azale dies overnight. Genuinely, it goes from 100k viewers to 5-10k. You could at least pay the guys that are carrying your brand. I think fans believe casters are paid and treated well, but it's actually the exact opposite. They are underpaid and there's no competition. Like, Kobe and Flowers can't just go and work for another company. They're stuck with Riot, and despite being just GOAT level casters, they actually have no negotiation power for better pay. And like me, you'd think, just go the Cadrel route and stream. They can't. It's actually crazy. Like, I'd watch a Captain Flowers Kobe co-stream, but they're not allowed without Riot giving them permission, and Riot won't give them permission because they don't want another Cadrel. And then on top of that now, they've added a new rule recently that Riot employees aren't allowed to make money from YouTube and Twitch from streaming Riot games. It's crazy. So even if Flowers, Kobe, Dracos, people who have worked Riot for a decade plus want to stream solo queue for some money on the side and a career after casting, they can't. Which, from Foxtrot's tweet, their career could end at any time. Look at Dash, look at Quickshot. You would never in a million years imagine they would be dropped, and overnight they're fired, and now they're streaming to 28 people playing Baldur's Gate. It's honestly sad, and I hope things pick up for both of them. Comment of the day though is glorious. Not quite Ravenous Hydra level, but he is a god amongst men. In the last video I used a clip from the Broken by Concept podcast guys, and this comment left me howling. The video they used is from Broken by Concept. I was crying reading this. Like, genuinely, how would people be able to decipher what this podcast's called? Like, there isn't a massive fucking banner. Honestly, incredible comment, but thanks to the guy. I actually do appreciate you letting people know, even though they are 10 times bigger than me, so irrelevant. But I do have to say, the podcast is a great listen. It's probably positive and refreshing in the league scene, so give it a shot. As always, really do appreciate it if you've made it to the end. So far, the channel is doing freaking incredible as a new one. I'm blown away. And let me know your thoughts on the joke earlier. I'm testing a few stuff out and trying to find the line, which for me is 100% more interesting for me to make the video, and I think for you guys to watch. It's way better than being bland and boring. Keeps it interesting for everyone. But as always, see you in a couple of days.